Today we are going to make Thanksgiving napkin rings because Thanksgiving is right around the corner, y'all. I cannot believe it. So I thought we would do this super easy tutorial that has a couple of different skills in it that we haven't talked about before. But let's get to it. So I'm going to zoom in here to show you what we are going to make. I can do it every single time, you guys. I plug in the everything to record. Everything gets super slow on me, so you're gonna have to bear with me. So we're gonna make these napkin rings that say thankful, grateful, and blessed. You can customize them however you want. You can do names, you can do quotes, whatever it may be. So I'm gonna just show you guys how to have it look like this, okay? So I started off with an artboard that is 5 inches by 5 inches. I'm assuming napkin rings are about maybe 2.5 by 2.5, 3 inches. So that's what we're going to start with. So let's start with the ellipse tool over here in your toolbar. I'm going to hold down shift and make a circle. It says my circle is about 3 inches. I think I want it to be a little bit less than that. I think I'm going to go with, yeah, let's do that. It's about 3 inches. That actually doesn't really matter right now because we are still going to make the shape I want it to be. So then I went over here and I clicked on my rectangle tool and I'm going to make a rectangle right below it. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to make this kind of shape with a little, where it's kind of flush on the ground. So I'm going to make a rectangle right in the bottom. Right here, I like that. Then I'm going to select them both. And I'm going to go over to my Pathfinders panel. And I am going to minus front. And if you guys can see that right here. Y'all, so slow. What is going on? Okay. Okay, you're going to see right there. Minus front. And, oh, guys, I did not select it. Okay, minus front. So now you have this. So now what we're going to do is we want to create an offset around it so that it can have some thickness to it. So I am going to go over here to my object path and I'm going to hit offset path. And it's going to open up this little box here and it is going to tell me it's a 0.1 inch offset. I think I want it more than that. I think I'm going to do a 0.6 inch offset and I'm going to keep it rounded. Here's the difference between these. If you have never, if you've played with this and you haven't really figured out the difference, let me zoom in so I can show you. Okay, so when I go back to object, path, offset, I want it to be what did we say, 0.6? 0.6. And I'm gonna, if I keep it at round, you'll see the edges right here are rounded. If I put it on miter, the edges are more pointier, right? If I go over to beveled, you're gonna get a beveled edge. In this case, I think I like the miter edge. If I went with the rounded, I don't know if it'll sit very flush on a table setting. So I'm going to go ahead with my miter. I'm going to hit OK. Okay, so now it kind of disappeared on me, but if I highlight it, you can see what happened right here. So I'm going to select the one in the middle, and let's do this so you can see what it looks like. Okay, the one in the middle is darker. There we go. So I'm going to select the one in the middle, and then I want to minus front what is in the middle. So I'm going to highlight it, Pathfinder, minus front, and that is the beginning of your napkin ring. Look at that. That wasn't very hard, was it? Okay. Now I want to get the text on there. So I'm going to start with, you can pick whatever font you want. I'm going to engrave this. I probably would not cut something to layer it on top just because it's going to be super skinny. So maybe you could score something or engrave something. I'm going to go with engraving it. So here's what we got to do. We're going to get our text tool. I'm going to start by, actually, no, we're not. We are going to do something else. Okay, we're going to make an ellipse. a circle shape using the ellipse tool. And I'm going to go over to my text tool, my type tool, and I'm going to select type on a path. And then you got this little wonky thing over here. And now when I click on it, you can see all the text is over there. So I'm going to start by writing thankful. If I could spell, how about that? Okay, thankful. So I really like this font called, I believe it's called Leaf. Let's see. And I will put the link down below on where I bought this font. It's just super cute to add little embellishments on it. So we're going to use it. I thought the leaves kind of looked really autumn-ish or Thanksgiving. So, okay, it's called Leaves. So you can see that. Let's blow it up a little. So I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to go over to my size and make it about, let's see, we're at about 33 points. Okay. So you can see that I do not have, you know what, over here I have it a lowercase, so let's do that. That looks a little bit better too. Now your text is on a path right here. So I'm going to move it over by just, or kind of move it to where I want it by hitting my direct selection tool and kind of moving the circle to kind of the placement I want it on the ring. Okay. So, I don't know. What do you think? Like that? Okay, so now I'm going to go over to, I'm going to highlight the L. And when you highlight it, you get these little options right here that they're actually called glyphs. If you go up to your type, you can view your glyphs over here. And every font has all kinds of funky stuff that comes with it. This font in particular has these little leaves that you can add to the beginning of a letter or the end of a letter. So I'm going to go ahead and add that because I think that looks pretty cool. And kind of like that. Okay, now if you don't like the placement of that, you can definitely play with it by going over to your character tab over here. And if you click it, you get all these options over here. I'm going to move this over so you can see what happens. Okay, so when you hit your character tab, make sure you have the text selected. You hit the character tab, there's all kinds of stuff. This will change the size of it. This will change kind of like how, I guess it's kind of shrinking it a little bit. You can literally play with it however you want. This is going to bring the letters closer together. This is going to bring the letters farther apart. Kind of like it farther apart. Let's do that. Yeah, so all kinds of things you can play with it till you like it. Kind of like it right there. Okay, so that is probably ready to go. Now, here is a quick tip. You already have this set up. You've already made this. If you want multiple words, this is the step that you need to copy and paste, okay? So, highlight everything, copy it, and I'm using my keyboard shortcuts. You can do edit, copy, edit, paste. But I am using my shortcuts on my Mac, and I am going to do that twice because I have 3 words that I want. Okay, so we do that now because we are going to expand the letters, and once you expand the letters, you cannot edit them anymore. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to double click over here, and I'm going to change that to grateful. Or whatever word you want. And I'm going to go back over here, highlight the L like we did earlier, and get my leaf back, which is oh so cute. And we are going to do the same thing to the third one. I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to type in lust, and then kept my L. Okay, and then we're going to highlight that D and get your cute little leaf on there. And I kind of like that. I don't love that one. We'll have to play with that a little. kind of like that there too. Okay, so now you're going to select all your text. So by doing that, you hit your direct selection tool, click on thankful, click on grateful, and click on blessed. Do not click on your circles that you created. So let's do that. And you're going to go over to your object tool and hit expand. And it's going to ask you a couple options. You're going to say okay. And when I did that, you can see that it expanded the paths to all the way around the letters. This is the point where you cannot edit your text anymore. Okay. So now that we're there, you can see that it created paths around every single letter. At this point, the Glowforge is going to want to cut every single letter, and then you're going to lose them, and it's probably not going to be very pretty. So what you want to do is select each word separately. Here's another little quick tip. Let's say you don't love where the placement of that L is. Before you unite them, double click that, and you'll see that it has just selected the L and left all these blank. You can literally move it around however you want. And I'm going to give it a little bit of a, kind of like that better, right? Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing over here because I did not like where the last letter was falling when it curved. So we're going to do the same thing with this one. And honestly, y'all, this is just a preference. Guys, my computer, what is happening? It's time to get a new one. I think it's time. Okay, here we go. Okay, double click on that L. I'm going to move it down a little bit, kind of curve it a little bit too. So kind of like that. I'm going to click out of it, and I'm going to do the same thing with blessed because that D looks kind of wonky. We're going to rotate it a tiny bit. Kind of like that. Okay, so at this point, you're going to select each word, and you're going to go to Pathfinder and unite it. When you unite it, all of your letters are merged together, and you don't have those little pieces in between for the Glowforge to want to cut. In this case, we are engraving it, so it doesn't really matter, but you want to get in the habit of doing that just in case you do end up cutting those pieces. I need my coffee, y'all. Okay, and then same thing over here. We're going to do the same thing with grateful, unite, and then we're going to do the same thing with blessed, unite. Okay, now we're almost done. We still need to create this piece right here. See how I kind of have the border around it? We're going to be doing that. So I'm going to select each one, and I'm selecting them all because we're doing the same function to all of them, so it's just easier to do it once. We're going to go over to Object and create an offset path around them. I'm going to go with, oh, that's too big. Okay, we're probably going to want to do 0.1 maybe? Let's see how big that looks. And I don't want it on miter this time. I want it rounded. So in this case, it didn't really make that big of a difference. So 0.1 looks pretty good to me. I'm going to say OK. And now you can see that it created this offset here. So now if I click inside it, it's going to click on my text. If I click right here, it's going to click on my offset. So what I want to do is I want to select my offset and select the circle ring that I created, and I'm going to unite them. I'm going to do the same thing, select the offset, the circle ring, and unite it. Offset, ring, unite. And I'm going to click on, well, not that. I'm going to click on that, click on that, click on that. And I am going to send to back so you can see. You can't see the text yet because it is the same color. So let's go select them all. And let's pick kind of like a woodsy color. I'm going to go with, that is not a woodsy color, but that works. Wow, that's not the color I was going for. But now you can see that you have, what happened there? Okay, now you can see that you've got your rings, you've got your text. Looks like everything's good to go. You want to check your layers panel to make sure that nothing is wonky. It looks like everything is good. What you really want to make sure is that everything is a compound path and there's no little pieces for the Glowforge to cut out. Okay, final step. You want to get this laser ready. I'm going to click on all my rings and I'm going to swap out fill from stroke. And that is ready to go. this is good because we want to engrave it, so you can leave that as a fill. And y'all, that is good to go. If you guys make anything that's really cool, or you kind of make this your own by adding your own words, I would love to see it. Tag me on Instagram, comment below. Let me know what you guys think of this. Thank you so much.